And what a way to begin this morning here on Newsflash, here on Prime Morning. And that's the man, Philip Wachidia Oyinka. Popularly, you know him as Nanasa Say. He's a poet, a literary coach and writer. He is also a member of the Folklore Board. He was born on the 12th of December, and he comes from Koforidua in the eastern region of Ghana. Nanasa Say, the name which you want to translate into English as the king of the earth. And the Akan dialects in Chi, it's Nana Asase. It was actually conferred on him by his grandmother, and since then this man has continued to cherish what we call our own Ghanaian tradition, and he's made it even more popular in what he does. Beautifully, you've seen that over there, and it brings us to Prime Morning News Flash. This morning, of course, is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, folks, Papa Pafi, we're grateful to them this morning for making that possible. Now, I would also entreat you to make sure that you get yourself connected by way of mobile phones. You want to contact Franco Trading Enterprise for Nokia, Samsung, or you probably want the iPhone. Definitely is the place that you can get it. For those of us out there who have been struggling with our refrigerator, we want to make a difference. And so changing it means that we have to make our way to Franco Trading Enterprise this morning. If you're stepping out, you're worried about what is going to happen whilst you're away, Franco Trading Enterprise says that worry no more. Grab any of our CCTV cameras and you'll be glad that you did. Don't forget that you can monitor anywhere, at any time that you are out there on your phone. It's that simple. Franco Trading Enterprise says still phones, Papa Pathy, branches right here in Ghana. You can find us and you can also download the app, and it's the Franco Trading app. All you have to do is to make sure that you download it on Google Play Store and you're good to go. Our website is www.francotrading.com. Still, phones, Papa Pathy, and of course, we're excited to bring you news flash this morning here on the show. You can get interactive with us. We're streaming live on Facebook. We'll be reading your messages over there, so make sure you send your contributions there. And also on WhatsApp, our WhatsApp line is active as always. You can also send your messages over there, and we'll read them here on the show. Like we always do, I'm going to get into the conversation, but we'll look at the front pages of the newspapers and check what has been reported. My guests are already seated in the studio. We've got two major things that we're looking at. The minority is asking the NDC to apologize for their inability to uncap the NHIS. We'll look at that. And also, the executive director of NSS has returned to Ghana, and that has brought a lot of conversations, and we'll be looking at that also as well. She's actually supposed to report at the NIB. We'll find out more on that here on the show. But in the meantime, let me just welcome my guests in the studio. And this morning I've been joined by Gideon Tete. And he's a lawyer and the regional director of conflict resolution for the NDC. And his party is in government right now. And it's good to be on that side, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's good to be after a very hard and difficult 8 years in opposition. Let me say good morning to our viewers. Well, so far so good. KMG, you can see that ever since we took power, the CD has actually, appreciated. Today, as of yesterday when I checked, it was 15.4 Ghana cedi. 15.4 Ghana cedi. I mean, you remember that before we took over power, it was almost 16, getting to 17 cedis, depending on where you buy it. And of course, looking at the fact that in less than 60 days, we see the cedi appreciating. I'm sure that once we get to our first 120 days, definitely this city would have appreciated more. It's all based on the fact that we are very, very prudent in economic management, and also under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his able finance minister, we are doing so well. You can see in our first 14 days, we promised in our 120-day contract, we indicated that definitely in our first 14 days, we will ensure that we have our cabinet ministers ready. And as we speak, it's just like we are marking our policies, our 10 policies under our first 120 days under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The first point has been ticked. In our 14 days, we have our cabinet ministers. We also promised that we'll have the leanest and most efficient government in the first 90 days. So far, you can see that as we speak, our 60 ministers are intact. In fact, we've only appointed 56 ministers so far, and 26 presidential staffers and 4 directors. So that should tell you that we are on course in terms of our most lenient and most efficient, government. And looking at the appointments we have done so far, and I can rest assured that we will not appoint 125 ministers and over 337 presidential staffers at all, or presidential appointees.
Okay.
We are focused on making sure that we have a leanest and most efficient. If I want to continue, maybe I may not have the time, but I will just
we'll get there. We'll get there.
But so far, so good. At least if we want to look at the 10 policies we promised in our first 120 days, and we want to be taken, I can assure you that if you look at it, we are likely to have achieved more than half of the 10 policies that we...
More than half of them?
Yes, of the 10 policies we promised in our 120 days. Remember we said that we listed some 10 policies. That's what I wanted to go through. The 10 policies that we would...
Let me finish with the news.
So far, so good.
I'll come to you to run us through that. I'm sure it's going to pop up in our conversation.
Exactly.
And also, Mr. Richard Suma has joined us this morning as well. He's a leading member for the Movement for Change. Rich, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Yeah.
And happy Ghana month.
Yeah. It is worth it. I would like to take this opportunity to also say good morning to your viewers and to Alan. He traveled out of the country for a while. Came back, I think, yesterday.
Is the reason we've not really heard much from him?
Okay. Yes, he went out to reorganize himself.
Great.
He's back in town, so I would like to extend my warm greetings to him and the wife and the entire leadership of the Movement for Change this morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much for making time for me this morning, gentlemen. I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate you. Now, let's go on the front pages of the newspapers. The Ghanaian Times is here this morning. It says, celebrating 68th independence anniversary, public express hope for better Ghana. And that's on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. The Bessie Traditional Council honors U.S. ambassador and foreign ministry to deliver Hajj passport in 3 days. Ablakwa says so. E-Transact named the 2024 FinTech Company of the Year. That's on the front page of the Ghanaian Times as well. And that will be all for it. The Accra Times is here, and it says that contribute meaningfully, Speaker Dagbin, to MPs, and Clark Majority Leader task MPs enrich Ghana's parliamentary democracy, and Gold Board, Sami Jemfi commended, expedites the processes, and that's from NEMSMAG demands. Now, economic dialogue outcomes will be implemented, Mida Boss says so. And the rising insecurity in Ghana, minority cry. And away from that, the road to greatness, Mahama promises new destination as true state of the nation exposes criminals. And that's the Accra Times reporting on that this morning. And that'll be all for the Accra Times. Now, let's go to Daily Analyst, and it says that daughter of murderer comments. Dagbin gives 1 week ultimatum to corporate. And Heritage Month, the GJA president calls for collaboration to promote Ghana's cultural heritage. And Akosia High Tension named ambassador for Suicide Prevention Foundation. That's also on the front page of Daily Analyst. And Ghana must reduce reliance on foreign loans. EIU reports on that. Gifty Oware returns to Ghana. And that's also captured on the front page of the Daily Analyst. And next Banks Gold Board to formalize gold trading. That's also captured on the front page of the Daily Analyst. And that'll be all for that. The Daily Dispatch is here, and it says NPP Guru reviews how NPP election defeat report was leaked. Interesting. And reasons that contributed to the NPP's defeat in 2024. Page 11 has got the story on that, so you can also check on it. Sorry. And that will be on the front page. Effective March 10, 2025. Also, Dispatch will be actually selling at 8 Ghana cedis, just for your information. So when you are going there and you are buying, you know what exactly to expect. And the former National Security Coordinator sues Turkish Airlines. So that's also at the back page of the Daily Dispatch. The Ghanaian Publisher is my very last paper this morning. It says that Abuja Napo questions dubious Gold Board initiative, and he demands clarity on that. NSS scandal. Gifty Oware-Mensah will avail herself to NIB, says Afeyomakin. And Bafo Akoto Osei restrained from claiming Kogumanhene title. Okay, so that's also another thing. It's got a picture of Dasibre Ekwamwa Ejapong II, Kogumanhene, captured over there. Abronya rejects Baumia bad candidates claim. That's also on the front page of the Ghanaian Publisher for today. That'll be all the newspapers that we have this morning. But let's get into the substantive issue, and you can send your messages to us. Let us know what you think about this issue of politics and social welfare and whether we're playing with that. Now, NHIS has come under serious scrutiny. Now, don't forget, the minority in Parliament is demanding an apology from the Finance Minister, Dr. Kesina, to forcing for the government's supposed failure to fulfill its promise to uncap funding for the National Health Insurance Scheme. Addressing journalists on Tuesday, March 4th, the Member of Parliament for Efiduasi Asokore, Dr. Ayu Afriye, actually accused the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, for failing to deliver on its campaign pledge to remove the cap on NHIS funding. Now, in his own words, he says the NDC made the whole country believe that the NPP's practice of capping NHIS funds was detrimental. The campaign on the promise that all revenues would be made available to the NHIA. Now in office, the Finance Minister finds it difficult to uncap the funds. So he claims there is misuse and shortfall. That is not true, Dr. Afriye asserted. Now, let me start with you, Gideon.
Yes, KMG.
These were part of your campaign promise. Why are we still where we are?
Why are we still? How many days have we spent in office? You see, I think that the NPP is becoming a very noisy party. I was even trying to tell you the same policies we said we are going to achieve in our first 120 days contract with Ghanaians.
And this is not part of it.
And you see, and this is not part of, these 10 policies that we promised Ghanaians is to stabilize the economy. And then we can kick off. And so I was even telling you that, look, just yesterday, today is Wednesday, just yesterday, we ended the National Economic Dialogue, all to make sure that we accommodate ideas and have discussions as to the way forward in terms of the economy of this country. And of course, very soon when the Finance Minister comes to the Parliament, he will talk about the budget, and then we'll also scrap some of the nuisance taxes. And so I just think that what the MPP is saying is they are asking for something when we are not even 120 days in power. Definitely every promise, now not say every promise, but most of the promises that we have, promised Ghanaians will be achieved. But before you take that, you need to take some first steps. That is why the 10 policies, we are much focused in making sure that in the 120 days that we are in power, these 10 policies will be achieved. Once we are done, we will roll out as to the way forward. But we cannot be talking about uncapping things when we have financial irregularities. Look, we were just some few days or weeks ago, the President John Mandumani Mahama told us how much was in the sinking fund. Just a few days.
The people disagree.
No, what do you mean by disagree? But
they said it's
but we
not
can,
true.
If it's not true, you and I are Ghanaians. It's public knowledge. We can all go and check. You and I can go and check how much it was. It's not $64,000. Even if His Excellency Dr. Mani Mahama doesn't even tell us, we can go and check. Is that a lie? Just 2 days, yesterday, the Minister for Government Communication told us that it was $64,000. And the fact that they were saying they were not using it, but yet, as at 7th October, the records to show that 7th October 2024, they transferred $225 million from that sinking fund to offset some debt. So what are we talking about here? These informations are not secret information. You and all of us can go and check. Now look, what I just want us to establish is that it is very important for us to settle in terms of our economy. Just a few days ago, we also paid the bondholders with 1.3 million Ghanaians. You know how much, how the noise they made so much went on picket the ministry because of their investment in terms of bond. Thank God, under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, 1.3 million Ghanaians have been paid. We paid in full. And so these are the steps we need to take. Once all that is done and we are stabilized and we are done with our 120 days in terms of the 10 policies we have promised Ghanaians, we will now kick off. But as of now, what the NPP is talking about is noisy. I just think that they are making so much noise, which I think is very unnecessary. If after the 120 days, and let's see, after the 120 days, we come out with the next policies we want to enroll in terms of what we want to do for Ghanaians, and we still come with excuses, then that is fine. But as we speak, we have a plan, right? And we have planned, we've spoken about it to Ghanaians as many times as possible. And we will stick to our plan. Once we are sticking to our plan, we'll get there. But and I think that it's too early for them.
Isn't it also because of where this is situated? Because this is the health of Ghanaians. But we know how we struggle with the NHIS.
Yes, but KMG, you have struggled with the NHIS. Are you going to put debt on debt or rot on rot? Or you want to clean your rot before you start doing clean things? If there are things there,
so perhaps it should have been one of the main things that
yes, but you see, definitely once there are irregularities, you need to make sure that when you do the uncapping, it is on a clean sheet. But if not, then what are you doing? You are actually going to mess everything up yourself. And that is why, as you speak, I told you that so far, looking at the things we have done to manage the economy. Now look at how the city has appreciated. Look also to the fact that today 1.3 million Ghanaians are no more complaining because now we have paid them their bonds. To the extent that now, even if we want money, there's so much, the confidence in the economy has made people to even bring out their money from their bedrooms, under their bed, everything, rather than hiding it because they know that so far what we have done, we can be trusted. And you see, before you kick off, you must make sure that you are on a clean sheet. And that's why we have a plan. Before power was handed over to us, we gave a plan, which was the 120 days contract with Ghanaians and the 10 policies. And I told you that if you look at what we have done so far, you can see that we are on track. And so, to the extent that, look, even His Excellency Dr. Mani Mama has asked appointees to declare the assets, okay? And so, look at the 10 policies. We've achieved more than half in less than 60 days. And I've listed even more than 5 of them to you on these to viewers. And so, it is one step at a time. The noise of the MPP now, I think, is unnecessary. This is how they make so much noise, forgetting that we have not even spent 120 days in office. We have not even spent 60 days. When is 60 days? 50 days is when? It may be this week.
This week.
So we have not even spent 60 days. So why are you making so much noise about it and making the thing look like we spent even 1 year? No. And I believe that as a government, you must have a plan for yourself. Once you have a plan and you know where you are getting to, you don't allow your opponents to engage in cacophonies.
Okay. Rich.
Yeah. Well, sincerely speaking, Ghana has a lot of issues. And if you want to discuss the issues, sometimes we should discuss it devoid of partisan positions. Because if you look at the health service delivery of Ghana, it's in a very dire situation.
Yeah.
We have 4 major sectors of every living or civilized human society.
Oh, Rich, sorry, before that, let me just introduce our next guest that has also joined us over here. Lawyer Kwesi Botwe Jr. has also joined us this morning, National Communications for the MPP. I'll be good.
Very well.
Great. I'm good. And good to see you in your smokers bar.
Thank you very much.
You're matching and we're also matching. It's good. Ghana Month is in full swing here on Prime Morning. We enjoy it. We enjoy that. Right. All right, sorry about that.
Yeah, so like I was saying, we have 4 major areas.
Yeah.
Health, education, safety and security of the people, and then food sufficiency. These are the 4 areas that sustain human society. Infrastructure is part, but a road can be constructed in my area. Somebody is in Kumasi. He has virtually not traveled to Accra before. So you can construct a first-class road linking Accra to Kumasi, but to him,
he may never even use it before he dies, actually.
But health, education, the food we eat, wherever you find yourself in any corner of Ghana, you must be food or self-sufficient in that regard. Now, if NPP are making a case that NDC promised that they were going to uncap the National Health Insurance Fund, simply what does it mean? There is a quantum of amount of money that goes to the National Health Insurance Scheme. Now, 2.5% comes from the VAT component of it, 2.5 comes from the Social Security, and then government also makes some allocation to it. World Health Organization also support them. Other donor agencies support the fund, the health scheme of Ghana. Now, if there have been problems, the problem is always about demand and supply. Only a few segments of our society is enrolled onto the national scheme, the National Health Insurance Scheme. Less than 0.5% of the population is on the scheme. Now, if you look at the demand in terms of financial demand on the scheme, obviously there is no way any government can come and cater for it all in its entirety. So, it is better if we are organizing forums on the economy, organizing forums on education. We should also take a holistic look at our health service provision in this country as its entirety. So now, government is early days here. They came to meet a myriad of issues. IMF conditionalities are there. If you look at our debt portfolio, it's also there. If you look at our debt servicing arrangement, it's also there. Ghana is actually constrained in several ways. So now, if a new minister comes in and say, fine, we promise to uncap it, but because of A, B, C, D, we may not be able to do that immediately. We want to streamline things within the space, because don't forget that in every public service institution we have in Ghana, people who are working there as Ghanaians are always finding ways and means to beat the system. We are not a group of people who are prioritizing how to improve things, but anytime people are placed in positions of authority, it is about how to milk the system, how to take advantage of the system, and how to make the system benefit them. That is why if the minister is saying that there are issues in terms of mismanagement, misappropriation, and other things that are associated with the national health insurance, therefore, we need to take a critical look at it. Before the need for us to uncap it, we uncap it. For me, I don't see anything wrong with that. Because look, the fund may be accruing, let's say, $2 million or $2 billion a year. And if it is just, you put it there, we siphon it, it goes wastage, how do you add more? You cannot add more. In any civilized jurisdiction, when you see loopholes or you identify certain challenges, you must curtail it before you move forward. So for me, I don't see anything wrong with that aspect. Early days here, but I want to admonish NDC that, look, their previous achievements that they associate to John Dramani Mahama wasn't his entire achievement. Professor Mills built the foundation for 4 years before His Excellency John Mahama built upon it. So, in this case, they have come to meet a different leadership. So, if they are promising so much and they are so optimistic that they are going to solve most of the problems or deliver on most of the promises they have given us, I want to ask them to be a little bit decorum or pause or put a
brakes on that.
Yes, because you see, Mahama has come and is creating an environment for us to believe that the previous government performed abysmally, they sank a deep hole, everything is not going right. Therefore, we need to reorganize. Please stay with me. So if you are going to reorganize, it may take you 12 months for you to reorganize. So after reorganizing 12 months, you have just another 24 months to do what? To build a base. The next 12 months, we are going into election. Therefore, you are not going to be concerned about fast-tracking some of the promises. So I only want to admonish them that they should be careful and tell us the truth and let us understand that we promised A, B, C, D, but looking at the dynamics of the situation, we are not too sure we can fulfill A, B, C, D. The goodwill of the people is still there. They will still benefit from it. But if they are not honest with us and they create the impression that anything we promise, we are capable of delivering on it, then they are shooting themselves in the foot. Because no foundation was built for Mahama. He's now digging his own foundation before starting to erect his pillars. So for the issue of health, all I can say is that let us look at it holistically. Now, health is not only about funding. Infrastructure is there. You go to several hospitals in Ghana, the equipments are obsolete. Some equipments are there over 30 years, 20 years.
The Agenda 111 was supposed to have covered for that.
Yes, you see, the Agenda 111 is a new revolutionary idea that we want to expand health infrastructure, which is good. But the timing on which it was promised was more political than a prospect that we are looking into the future. Because if you promise to deliver something within 12 months, 111 hospitals within 12 months, how possible is this across the continent? So let us take a holistic look at that. Now, if you look at funding of children, Ghana is a country where we don't prioritize children. Look, have we ever seen any state-of-the-art first-class hospital for children? John Mahama promised that the National Cathedral was going to convert it into a first-class children's hospital. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the day where they will try to tell us that based on ABCD, we have embarked on that project to construct that first-class children's hospital, so that the way we parade children on the street begging for arms, because you see, you are driving in traffic, some parents have put their kids there begging for arms because the kid has some one complication or the other, and there is no support. Okay. How much is the National Health Insurance Fund? That is what I'm saying to you. There is more demand than supply. Even if you put $10 billion into the health fund, I'm not sure it can cater for all of us in this country. So we should look at more innovative ways of solving this problem. Very well. To politicize it and make it look like we are capable of solving, and I will say you cannot solve, you promise, and you cannot deliver. To me, it's neither here nor there. Very well.
Let me move on to Christy. What is the NPP looking for? They think that they've not even spent 60 days in office yet. Where's all this pressure coming from?
Good morning to you, KMJ. Good morning to Council, and good morning to my colleague, and good morning to everybody watching us. To start with KMJ, I think that we have to take certain things very serious in this country. You see, the politics of promise, win, and shift must end in this country. It's about time the political elites stop taking the citizens for granted. If prior to elections, you campaign on promises and the good people of this country find your promises worthy and attractive and they vote for you and you assume power, you have to try your possible best to at least fulfill the promises you've made to the good people of this country. Prior to the 2024 elections, we heard a lot of promises from our colleagues in the NDC, including the promises of not capping the NHI levy at page 102 of their 2024 manifesto. And so the question is simple: what has changed? Is it a case that the NDC was ill-informed before promising this in their manifesto? If that is the case, they should simply come and apologize to the good people of this country and do what they want to do. But you cannot promise something in your manifesto, campaign on it, campaign on the vulnerabilities of Ghanaians, because you know that Ghanaians are sensitive when it comes to issues of health, and now you want power, and now you want to do otherwise. This cannot be acceptable. This cannot be acceptable.
They think it's too heavy. Yes. These are promises that it was not even part of their first things they said they wanted to do.
It is not about the first. Easy. It is not about the first things you want to do or the last things you want to do. Ghanaians have voted for you for a tenure of 4 years. Ghanaians demand results. Ghanaians have high expectation for you. The goodwill of the NDC, is above the roof. They have the goodwill of the people of this country. They have to deliver. They cannot shift from their promises. And you see, KMJ, the time for campaigning is over. It's about time the NDC realizes that they have to put a stop to their propaganda and focus on developing.
Are they still campaigning?
Of course, they are still campaigning. You hear my colleague. You hear some of the things my colleague said. Today, he's describing the opinions of NPP members or the opposition as noise. Really? Is that where we have gotten to? Just about 2 months in power, suddenly the opinions and the criticisms of the opposition is now being tagged as noise. I feel it is unacceptable, and the good people of this country are watching. The good people of this country are watching. If it were an MPP member saying this under an MPP administration, they would have said it is the exhibition of arrogance of power. Today, you term the opposition views as noise. Anyway, the good people of this country will leave it for the jury out there to determine whether the criticisms of the MPP and protecting the interest of the good people of this country can be termed as noise. But you see, KMJ, it is very important for us to understand that health is not something that we can play politics with. Because if you fall sick and you go to the hospital and the doctors or the nurses or the physician assistants are taking your details, they do not ask you whether you are affiliated to MPP or you are affiliated to NDC. They treat you as a Ghanaian. And so I think that when it comes to issues of health, we should try as much as possible not to do or engage in party politics with issues of health. And that is why in my preliminary submissions, I mentioned that the NDC must try as much as possible to fulfill the promises they have made in their manifesto, particularly on the topics of health or on the issues of health. NHI is something that almost every Ghanaian benefits from in one way or the other, especially if you look at the statistics, especially the aged. It is something that most of them rely on. Today, the basis for the NDC on capping the NHIA is that they claim there is a misuse of funds at the NHIA. Granted, without admitting that NHIA is misusing their funds, today you are in government.
Is the reason Gidi was saying
that is why I am. That is why I am saying that they should stop the propaganda and focus on fixing the problems. If there were any problems, that is why the good people of this country voted for you.
Is that not the reason why they want to take their time?
That is why. Take your time for what?
So they don't make the same mistakes that they believe the NPP did.
They told us that they have the solutions. If they had wanted to take their time, they wouldn't have stated categorically in their manifesto at page 102 that when they come, they were going to uncap the NHIA levy. It was categorical in their manifesto. So what feasibility studies did they engage in for them to come to the conclusion that it was improper to cap the NHIA levy? So once they have promised, which means they had conducted research and feasibility studies and analysis to know that they could do that, and so they should fulfill it. They have to fulfill it. They have they cannot attempt to shift from the goalpost. They have to fulfill the promises they've made to the good people of this country. And KMJ, the lamentations are too much. We came to power no long ago. When you were campaigning, you wanted honeymoon. Now you started shouting that you came to power no long ago. They've started feeling the heat. They should fix the problem. This is why the good people of this country voted for them. This is why 57% of the electorate voted for them. They should fix the challenge. If the NHIA is in a mess, fix it. Don't uncap. Don't hide behind the back to do certain things. Fix the problems. This is why Ghanaians have reposed confidence in you. Sit down. Stay away from the propaganda, draft your policy papers and strategies, and fix the challenges you claim you've come to inherit. Today, they are holding an economic dialogue. I mean, to a large extent, I feel it is a good thing once in a while, as a country, we should meet as a nation and, deliberate on issues.
The NPP is not fully cooperating.
But how do you invite? But how do you invite persons you claim to have criminally mismanaged the economy to be part of an economic debate? You claim people have criminally mismanaged the economy. Today you are holding an economic dialogue. You expect this quote and unquote criminals who have mismanaged the economy to be part of the economic dialogue. Is that what you want? Please, they should focus on.
Is the focus not on Ghana now?
They should focus.
Is that not where the focus is?
Then the president should apologize for saying that the MPP criminally mismanaged the economy. An economy that was able to purchase over 300 plus ambulances, an economy that was paying nurses and teachers, an economy that was employing persons, an economy that was not terminating the appointment of young people, an economy that was providing us light 24/7. You call that an economy that has been criminally mismanaged? We live to see the economy, the NDC will live for the people of this country. We live to see. They will steal the economy and take it away. I am not a prophet of doom, but it is clear from the way they have started that if we criminally mismanage the economy, at least we left an economy behind. We pray and we hope that they will not steal the economy and take it away. We pray and we hope that they don't do that. But you see, sometimes some of these issues, we need to holistically approach some of these issues. The issue of NHIA is a sensitive matter to me because, like I have told you, if you look at the statistics, it is usually the elderly persons that benefit from the NHIA. Everybody knows that the NHIA was established by President Kufuor. It is a dream of, it's a vision and an achievement of the MPP government. When it comes to the two political parties, if there's any political party that has the NHIA at heart, or that has the best interest of the NHIA, it is the MPP. And I mean, this is not even up for a debate. The NDC are only trying to look for ways and means to, I feel what they are doing is to undermine the NHIA scheme. All what they are doing is trying to undermine the scheme, blame it on misuse of funds, and we realize that in the next 4 or 5 months, the service providers will start demonstrating, telling the good people of this country that government is not paying their claims. And that is what they did between the period of 2013 to 2016. And that is exactly the blueprint they are beginning to use. And so we know what they want to use, but we are pleading with them.
Okay.
And we are telling them that they shouldn't try to abolish the NHIA, because if they do that, Ghanaians will never forgive them. If you claim the NHIA is being mismanaged, and I repeat, fix the challenge. The good people of this country have voted for you to fix our problems. The good people of this country have reposed confidence in you to fix our challenges, to improve our lives. Please stop the propaganda, stop the lamentation, stop behaving like a depressed boyfriend, and fix that problem.
Very well.
They should fix that problem. You know how the NDC is behaving now? They are behaving like a young man who has gone to approach a young lady after winning the heart of the young lady, now blaming everything on the ex of the young lady and behaving like a depressed boyfriend. The NDC shouldn't behave like a depressed government. They shouldn't do that. It is too early to be depressed. It is too early. They should take their time, sit down, avoid propaganda, draft your policy papers and strategies, implement them, reduce the cost of living, reduce the cost of hardship, reduce the cost of transportation, reduce the cost of food inflation, stop terminating the appointment of young people and creating unemployment, reduce the doom. So, you see, this morning I didn't have light in my area. I slept in darkness. The light came around midnight today. The whole area. And
that qualifies for doom.
The whole area.
But other people suffer the same thing under NPP. Intermittent light off is accepted. It happens everywhere.
Ask yourself, what is happening now is intermittent light off. We said we were doing maintenance.
How many hours? How many hours? 2 days? You're looking at 2 days?
No, I go home. I didn't have light after work yesterday. The light came around 4 a.m. there about this morning. Yes, and this is something you experience regularly. I mean, the good people of the jury is out there. If I'm lying, they'll say this guy's lying. I don't know if it is doomsday or it is intermittent, whatever. What Ghanaians demand is that you keep the light on. No matter the name you give them, you can even call it Doom Nafa. I mean, or you can call it Doom Queen Queen. Nobody cares. Fix the challenge. Fix the problem.
Very well.
We want to see our lights on.
I'll try and read some messages, but respond to that and let me get some messages from our viewers as well.
My junior kept on saying, fix the challenge, do this, do that, do that. Is that not what we are doing? The 120 days. If can you put debt on debt? We want us to fix it. You must start from somewhere.
He says you should fix without lamentation. Fix them without complaining.
We have never lamented. We have never, and the Assistant General Mama even indicated that he is not here to lament when he was giving the state condition address. But we have a plan. We've not even spent 120 days. We spent less than 60 days. And we have a plan. We are sticking to our plan. Then you are making noise. The reason why I say the NPP is because you were giving 8 years. What did you do? You won't keep quiet for us that we came. We have not even spent 60 days. We are making noise. That is why I will keep on saying that the NPP are making noise because we have a plan. If we have a plan and we are not sticking to our plan, then fine. But you will not tell us what to do. That's what we want to tell NPP. We told Ghanaians a 10 policy plan for the first 120 days. When we achieve that, we move to the next step. And that is what Ghanaians have come to know. We put it out there already. So if the NPP can say, fix it. Yeah, that's what we are fixing. That's what we are fixing. And you see, the issue of arrogance. You see, we will not tell people that Okafor Didi. When we are winning, we say, oh, Okafor Didi. We will not tell Ghanaians that when there is flooding at Akoso, but they will tell you that, oh, because you didn't vote for us, we will not come there. We will not, that is the level, we are not arrogant. Look, we will not be arrogant and be doing KK party because of some small hat trick. No. We are serious. And so we know that this is a serious business. We know that the mess the NPP has left for us. And so we are not here to engage in arrogance. But what we want to tell the NPP is that we have a plan. We stick to that plan. They will not dictate to us. In fact, they got an F in the elections, 30-something%. So how do an F student teach a student who got a B how to get an A? It's highly impossible. So you keep quiet, right? For us who are serious and we have a plan to do that. And you see, the National Economic Bank, it was part of the 120 days contract. It was there. We did it. Look, we also indicated the issue of banning political appointees from purchasing state artists. President Mahama even told Ghanaians, the state of nation address. He said all those things. So I'm sure he doesn't have it. If he looks at the 10 policies that we say we want to do in our 120 days, you can start taking. And you realize that, look, we are on track. Once we are done, we will move to the next step. But for now, they are making noise. So you should keep quiet.
Okay.
I don't know, before you read them.
Okay, Rich.
Just a minute. I just want to add that, in all honesty, we need to have a conversation, always, like I said, devoid of this blame game. And NPP too, you don't have that low cost, to be to be honest, you don't have that locus now to force NDC to uncap NHIL fund. You cannot. You don't have that locus.
Why don't they have that?
You were also there. You've been there. You just left government. You know the myriad of problems that we face as far as our health delivery is concerned. You know that there are a lot of issues there. If you said the agent benefit from it, that is fine. But even that one is not the agent in its entirety. It's a segment of it benefit. Even upon the NHIS card and all these things, people still have to use their own pocket money to pay for certain services. So the idea of you forcing them to do something now when they have not done a lot of introspection after they've taken power, that would be unfair. And all we are saying is that we should always give room for the government in power to operate. If, for instance, they operate for 12 months, 24 months without delivering on certain things, then you can take them on. But it is too early days here to start clinching to certain straws here and there and try to make it as if you are now in the position of speaking for Ghanaians. When you were there and anybody speaks, you say no. So we should find a fair balance in some of these national conversations. If not so, we'll be doing this NDC banter every morning, and at the end of the day, we'll still be marking time as a country.
Okay, very well. Quick one. Before you, just quick one. You see, my brother retreated that the NPP is making noise. The NPP is in a position to speak for Ghanaians. We are the opposition in this country.
You are the micro minority.
Please. I was quiet.
Yeah,
Council, let's not do this. Council, let's not do this.
You are making noise.
You see, we are in the position to speak for Ghanaians, and so if you say the MPP is making noise, invariably, what you are trying to suggest and to mean this morning is that Ghanaians are making noise by criticizing your government. And again, if my colleague says that the MPP doesn't have the locus to force the NDC to deliver on it, I vehemently disagree with that position. If NPP doesn't have the locus, then which group has the locus?
You said you've been there before.
The fact that no, we are Ghanaians. No, you see, we are Ghanaians before we become.
The situation
You see, we are Ghanaians before we become NPP members. This is a government in power that has promised something in their manifesto. I have referenced the page here, that page 102.
All the things.
Respectfully, I was quiet when you were speaking.
Okay,
please allow me the audience, respectfully.
Yeah.
So, this is a government that has promised something in their manifesto. All what the MPP is saying is that deliver what you promised in your manifesto. The manifesto in itself serves as the basis for a social contract between the good people of this country and the government. And the NDC is trying to do something which is not in accordance, which is opposite what they promised in their manifesto. All the MPP is saying is that, please, refer to your manifesto, do what you promised in your manifesto.
Hey, do you
and you say we don't have the locus.
Every other thing we have done?
We have every locus, we have every capacity, we are in every position to put the NDC on their toes, to tell the NDC to fix the problems, to tell the NDC what to do. The NDC didn't tell us that when they come to power, they were going to form forums and committees, and we should give them time to assess the problem. KMJ, during the campaign, did you hear anything like that? You are a very good journalist. Did you hear any of the NDC communicators come to tell you that if you vote for President Mahama, he will need some time to assess the problems, he will need some time to do this, to do. They told us that immediately we vote for them, they have the solutions. They have the keys. They have the solutions to our challenges.
A better assessment of the solutions you want to give to the people, and maybe it would include putting some committees together to ensure that they're able to have a better assessment of the situation.
I mean, you see, they can. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. They can hide behind committees in the name of fixing. I don't have a problem at all. But the point I'm making is that you shouldn't do something which is not in accordance with what they promised the good people of this country in their manifesto. They have to deliver on the promises they made in their manifesto. Whatever is in their manifesto, they shouldn't do otherwise of it. They should do exactly what is in their manifesto. That's all I'm saying. You can decide to describe that as noise or whatever, but the point is that you promise something in your manifesto and you are doing otherwise, and that is being mischievous.
Okay. Gideon, I'll come to you. Let me engage our viewers a bit. This one says, good morning, Joy Prime. The NPP members are suffering from daydreaming, and had that known due to their heavy defeat. You see that the NPP keep on repeating same point and not making sense, with all due respect. Now, they should pipe down. Moses and Shreponi sent in that. This one over here, let me see. It says, good morning, KMJ. If I understand correctly, the NPP, after their abysmal performance in 8 solid years, want the NDC to fulfill all their promises in less than 60 or 120 days without respect. Now, one of the main or most important promises is the oral, which will bring enough money and other assets the nation needs for the fulfillment of the promises. Eunice in Asin South sent in that. This one over here says, good morning to you, KMJ, and your guest. NDC is not like the NPP. We're not going to rush on a sudden decision, and finally everything will come back to zero again, like they were doing. If the NPP guys failed to control their emotions, some of them will die out of the defeating syndrome that they are battling now. KMJ, where was the guy in your studio? You mean Kwesi? He's a lawyer, so please try and address him well. Where was he in your where was he when the people were stealing the national resources left and right? Indeed, NPP and their communicators have no shame upon all the mess they caused. They still have the mouth to talk. Ghanaians are aware of their lies and propaganda. Sumani Hama sent in that. Let me go to this one over here from K. Frimpong. It says, good morning, KMJ. Management of NHIS is one of the good things the Akufo-Addo government did. I was personally surprised that government communicators were very silent on the good performance of Akufo-Addo government on NHIS. In the history of NHIS, payment of NHIS money to health facilities under Akufo-Addo's government, Akufo-Addo's government was unprecedented. And Akufo-Addo's government, throughout the 8 years in office, health facilities never complained about NHIS payment delayed. Now, the NDC has a bad history about the management of NHIS in past. The NDC introduced capitation, and it was a big mess. One thing we cannot play politics with is our health sector. You see some videos of Agenda 111 projects, and you ask yourself, what is really left for such facility should be put to use? The NPP government came to power and added all the necessary finishing touches and made sure rich hospitals serve Ghanaians, not NPP or NDC people. All right, keep from point over there. This one over here says that, good morning, sir. Tell the NPP spring doctor to ask to stop making nuisance of himself. They promised to turn Ghana into Singapore, but gave us kinky parties, e-levy cakes, reckless spending, opulent lifestyles, flying luxury jets, pension cuts, collapse of banks and businesses, galamsey and pollution of forest reserves, water bodies. They should use their presses to apologize for their atrocities against the state. Okay, this one says, good morning, KMJ. I feel your market and his minority. Let's try and deal with this minority thing and stay away from that. Instead of resuscitating the party as a result of their heavy defeat in the last election, they are rather strangulating it by the actions. The earlier they started to cooperate, the better. Nanaka Kari in Techiman sent in that. This one over here says, NPP is indeed making noise. NDC is yet to even read its budget. So what's the plenty noise for? Farmer in Takrade. And let me go over here. It says, good morning, Mr. Host. The NPP have enriched themselves with the taxpayers' money of this country, and we are expecting President Mahama to make a thorough investigations and seize the properties they used the monies for, because that is why we voted massively for the NDC. And tell the NPP man shouting on top of his voice to remain calm, because they didn't mean well for the nation and stole all the money from Jake in Asaman Kese. Let me go to Prince Henry in Koforidia. It says, good morning. Is the NPP guy aware that they told some few months ago that everything was okay in Ghana? So why are they lamenting now? The NPP should relax, because Ghana will be reset for better. Betting tax and e-levy will be yamu to latest by April. All right. Good morning, KMJ. All I can see this morning is a very well-depressed, long-lasting opposition young guy full of propaganda. Is this not so surprising that people who were in power for 8 good years and 8 good years doing nothing but supervised criminalities are now forcing NDC to fulfill their promises? That's Moses Jr. inside Keta. Let me go to this one over here. It says, good morning. I think we should be serious and not give the NPP the chance to even come on any show to talk, because we already gave them 8 years to help Ghana, but they failed and rather enrich themselves, so they have no idea any longer that that can help Ghana out of its holes. Sams Hansen from Apam. Let me go to this one over here. It says, good morning, Mr. Host. Ask this NPP man, can a newborn baby walk in 2 months? This time around, no lie, we work. Moses from Nigeria sent in that. Okay, thank you, Moses. Good morning, KMJ. No amount of fortifications can help the NSS looters who traveled outside. Outside. God is in control. Simon sent in that. Let me go to Alasan Sese from Zenu Central. It says the 2024 election defeat is still hunting the NPP, and the NPP hasn't recovered from that tsunami that hits them. That is why the NPP are behaving as if the NDC is in power more than 2 years or 3 years. The NDC hasn't even read their first budget, and the NPP are crying like spoiled child. Just about 2 months in power without their first budget, the field NPP are asking them to implement all their promises. What kind of hypocrisy is this? Let me go to this one. It says, good morning, KMJ. Tell the NPP guys to stop the propaganda. It's too early. The NPP is making noise. They are not speaking for Ghanaians as he claims. We, the Ghanaian, know it's too early to blame the government. He should stop saying he's speaking for Ghanaians. Greetings to my MP for Ododo constituency, Honorable Alfred Nikote. Now, let me go to Raman. Master Raman says that... good morning, KMJ. Mr. Afiyumakin claimed he loves Dr. Zinato so much that he thinks Dr. Zinato should have been part of cabinet. Now we are looking forward to him, Afiyumakin, to bring out the minority member who called Zinato daughter of Medra. This is the time. Ghanaians will know whether Afiyumakin is indeed a leader or not. We are watching him. Now the speaker has issued an ultimatum for that person to own up. We'll see about that. Good morning, KMJ and all. Listening to this Boche man is irritating. He's not matured in his submissions. J. Kufuor didn't bring NHIS. What he introduced is mutual health insurance scheme. Ghanaians have seen their 1D, 1F, one village, one dam, etc. I don't want to talk too much. That's David from Accra. By their fruits, we may know them when the youth of this country ask them to fix the country you told us to fix ourselves. We are watching them. Solomon from Bolga says, good morning, KMJ. Good morning to you, Solomon. And correct score, Zakaria says from Sunyane, if Ghanaians have not voted for Mahama, would have been lost of our vision. Mahama is our light. Let's pray for healthy life for him. Professor Obnana Opoku Ajman, they will deliver. Never mind the 38% NPP. Mahama is focus. Resetting Ghana we all want together. Greetings to Na Alaji, Mayanka and Kofi, and Kofi Anchi AJ Vincent Oman. Greetings. Okay, thanks a lot for sending that. And Akonsi Gariba from Tamale says, good morning, KMJ. Ghanaians have made mistake for voting for the NDC party into power. President Mahama has been president before, so the least Ghanaians expected from him wasn't for him to be forming the National Economic Forum. Now, if you are a Ghanaian and you are expecting something meaningful from President Mahama, I'll plead with you to get yourself prepared for more disappointment yet to come. My regards to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Okay, let me go here. Some have sent it a bit earlier. So this one says, good morning, KMJ. Let me go to this one. I read that. Okay, Sami Boachin, as Mankasi says, the plethora of discussions will not contribute to the mitigating or restructuring the national health insurance scheme's financial woes. We as Ghanaians were promised the 10 premium by Mahama and Mills, but it turned out to be lies and propaganda. The current Mahama administration is taking Ghanaians for granted, and the constant lamentations and blame games are overwhelming. Instead of focusing on fixing the broken economy and creating jobs for the youth, they are deceiving Ghanaians. Will not stand idle by a while, and they continue to mislead us. Regards to Honorable Frank Esiri Bekwin Potozo. Now, this one over here says, good morning. Can the NPP rep tell us Nanando's achievement in his first 4 months? He should stop making the noise. I'm sure NPP rep, has not lived in this country for almost 2 decades. He should go and read the history of power outages in 2007 under President Kufuor. We live in a country where a minister arrogantly told Ghanaians to publish their own doomsday timetable under the Anado administration. He can keep on complaining as if NPP left office some decades ago. 38.2% of work, Mahama, is reset in Ghana. And that's Alepen Kelvin from Pandai constituency. Good morning, KMJ. The people of Ghana voted for the NDC to fix the country, and they must. However, the NPP is crying more than the bereaved. Less than 60 days in power, and they are already ranting. What about? They should be responsible opposition and stop being prophets of doom. Some of the NPP communicators should respect the good people of Ghana. It is this behavior of theirs that took them to opposition. If the NPP communicator says they are Ghanaians before NPP members, they should act as such, because their behavior ain't reflective of such. unfortunately, they are not learning, and Ghanaians need them to be responsible opposition to help us all. And that is Papa Call from Jumako BA. Maybe the last one I'll do, and then I will move on. This one says, good morning, KMJ. It seems the NDC has certain conviction that they have the majority of Ghanaians behind them, but that's not the case. We have seen the arrogance, disrespect, propaganda, and lies and insults ever since they assumed the seat. Can he advise them not to hide behind the 56%? They should be worried about the numbers that won them the votes. So when you win an election with the same number of votes you lost with some years back, it shows clearly you're sitting on a time bomb. Please tell the NDC panelists in your studio to show some respect. The use of the word noise is an evidence of arrogance. I can go for it here. Okay, those are some of the messages you've sent. You can also send yours on Facebook as well. We're streaming live on Facebook, so you can send your messages over there. Before I wrap up, though, I'll be doing some of the messages on Facebook, so you can drop those messages over there. I'll be more than glad to read from you. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise, Stowe Funk's Papa Pathy, and they made it possible for us to have news flies this morning here on the show. We're grateful. So we'll be moving on to our next topic, but just do a quick one for me, and then we'll move on to the NSS scandal.
What we all need to understand is that President Mahama is the only president in Ghana who has been president, former president, and he's now president. He has seen it all as a former president, and he has not also seen it as a former president, and now he's president. And so this time, there's somebody who knows what, the in and out. And that is why we have a plan. And that is why we said we are resetting Ghana. And so he's the best person that Ghanaians voted for. It is not like the NPP who didn't even know what they were about. And as I said, they were busily doing KK party. And in the long run, they brought us back to IMF. In this case, we are poised and focused in sticking to our plan. I can assure you that the way to kick off as a country is the 10 policies we have assured Ghanaians in our 1 TDD contract to Ghanaians. Once we achieve that 10 policies, Ghanaians will realize that we have stable economy and will kick off. I will repeat again. You reasonably, you have to reasonably, or it is unreasonable for the MPP to be asking for making demands now. In any case, if you say you're even speaking for Ghanaians, you're only 38%. Let's say that your members of parliament, you are speaking for Ghanaians, you're 38%. So you are 38% of Ghanaians representatives or Ghanaians what you're talking about here. In this case, Ghanaians overwhelmingly voted for us because they saw that in 8 years, MPP put us in a mess. We all know how the kind of mess we were in. Looking at even the cedi depreciation and the fact that it devalued from in the previous years as high as 54%, right? In terms of their depreciation and where we are today. And so I believe that the way and manner President Mahama is taking this country to, I can assure you, definitely Ghanaians will be happy. And you can see the goodwill. The goodwill is still there because so far what we have promised, we have look, so far look at the ministers. We are not even 60 years, but we'll stick to the 60. And look at the fact that they had 125 ministers and over 300 presidential appointees on all that. But so far, I mean, Ghanaians themselves are very, very impressed with how we have managed even the appointees and the fact that we have stuck to that promise. That should tell you that, look, in all that, look at the city even appreciating. Once we came to power, the thing, because of how prudent we are in terms of the in management of the economy, look how the city is appreciating. And the fact that Ghanaians...
It's not early days yet with regards to that.
You know the most...
We've seen this before.
You know, the greatest joy... So fine, let's talk about... Fine, you've seen that...
You think that we can be able to stabilize it?
But the greatest joy is when you were a bondholder, right? And you have been paid all the money. When at least in the previous years, it didn't look like you were going to be paid. NDC came and we paid all the 1.3 million Ghanaians, all their money. Monies that the MP was supposed to pay, to the extent that retirees have to, even pensioners have to picket ministries and what have you, and be complaining. Thank God. Even if you want to say that this, you know, what you are saying that, okay, we just came and the city is appreciating, how about the fact that today, Ghanaians have confidence that if they invest their bonds, right, they'll be paid. At least we've paid them. And that is why now, right, at Ghanaians themselves are willing to even give us our money, give us their money, because they know that so far we have shown to be managing the economy well. And that's all that matters. If Ghanaians have confidence in you, you can imagine the speed in which the economy will go. So you see, I will plead with my junior. We are speaking for the MPP, but as he keeps on saying fix. How do you fix? You start from somewhere. Don't you start from 1 before you go to 2? You start from 4 before you come to 1.
And that's exactly what the NSS is doing.
You are making noise. That's the point. So you are still making noise, because in the long run, you say fix. We are fixing, you are saying do it. So what do you want to do? You want us to just jump in the air? No. That's what the fixing is what we are doing. So that's why I keep on saying the NPP is making noise. Because reasonably, whether you want 20 days, so what do you expect us to do? We are taking one step at a time and looking at how we are going. Even you came, when you came, you said, oh, Charlie, you guys are doing well. Oh. So far, so because obviously you can see that the things we said we are doing or we want to do, we are doing one step at a time. And obviously, you know, how do you call it? When they say, what do you call it? When you wake up in the morning in tree, I can't remember it properly. But Agobeswa.
Okay.
You get the point. So obviously, but when you see, when you look at how we have started, you can be able to that this government is going the way we promised Ghanaians. And that is why he says Jordan Mahama is the best person to lead this country. And as I told you, there can be no better president than someone who has been a president before, a former president, a former president.
Okay, very well. Let's move on. Let's make some progress on our next conversation.
We are making progress, but it's a national conversation. And people watching us out there, they are Ghanaians, either on the left or on the right of the political divide. We are all Ghanaians. That is why I'm still constantly of the view that let us stop throwing dust into the eyes of the public. One, there is no country in the world that within a short period of time you can solve all your problems. No, it is never done anywhere. You must gather momentum. That is why even aeroplanes, they don't just get up and fly. They taxi, they run, they gather momentum, they take off, they fly. So if a new government comes into power less than 60 days of being sworn in, and then the opposition is putting so much demand on them, as if you didn't just exit government, then that one, they are throwing complete dust into our eye. For instance, my brother said that, Dumso, I like to repeat this issue all the time, that there has never been any moment in Ghana's history that any area of Accra or in any area of the country enjoyed light for 2 weeks without power outage. Never in the history of this country. So, if there are instances where power goes off due to technical issue, due to obsolete machines and anything, you cannot all of a sudden try to quantify everything and say it is doom, so it doesn't add up. You see, so when we are not able to control the emotions of the people, others will take advantage, and within a few period of time, you start lambasting the government. And the moment you start lambasting the government, you don't give the government opportunity to operate and solve the problem. I don't speak for NDC, but I speak as an objective Ghanaian to let the people know that once you've given the mandate to John Mahama and his people, give them the opportunity to do what? To do what they want to do. If you got the chance and you had the opportunity to implement free HSS within your first time of coming, and for your 8 years of being in government, anytime anything is being pointed at you, you say free education. And free education is not the only subsector of the Ghanaian economy. Any other thing, you say free education. So I'm only saying that let us have patience, let us look at the issues objectively and do constructive criticism. We shouldn't just criticize for the purposes of criticizing and making ourselves relevant in the political space, but do constructive criticism that will sink well into the heart and mind of Ghanaians, that we all have a country to do what? To build collectively.
Okay, so
KMJ, quick one. Before we go to the new topic.
No, you will, but I want to say something. So do 1 minute for me, and then add up with the conversation with the NSS scandal would give to you as well. So I want to start with you, so you can.
No problem.
Either one.
So you see, I haven't said that the NDC should fix all the challenges of this country within the next 2 months or the next 1 month. All I have said is that they promised us that they were not going to uncap the NHI levy at page 102 of the 2024 manifesto. In view of that, the good people of this country, we all sound queen, we voted for them. They've won power. They shouldn't do things that are inconsistent with the promises they made to the people of this country. That's the point I'm making. Again, my learned colleague makes the assertion that because they promised to appoint system ministers, and they have delivered on that, and so we should clap for them and we should praise them. You see, if you appoint deputy ministers and other persons behind the back and characterize them as presidential staffers, do you know that the term of office of a presidential staffer is the same as the term of office of a deputy minister? They enjoy the same benefits. And so if you employ a minister for agric, a deputy minister for agric, a director at the presidency in charge of agric and agribusiness, indirectly what it means is that you have appointed a minister and 2 deputies. If you appoint a minister in charge of communication and you appoint a director at the presidency in charge of, say, communication, what you have done is that you have 1 minister and 2 deputies. Because if the deputy minister is being paid X amount of money, the director of the presidency is going to receive the same X amount of money.
The MPP did same.
No, we didn't.
We had presidential staffers for communications, which numbered was about 8 people.
No, we didn't. No, listen to what I said. I said directors. It is the
it's the same thing. I'm just making reference to, because you're looking at the number.
If you go to the presidency, no, the portfolio matters. If you go,
but it's the portfolio.
No, the portfolio matters. You know why it matters? Because if you go to the presidency, it is not all presidential staffers that fall under Article 71. Some don't fall under Article 71. Some are just say workers at the presidency or employees of the presidency. Some do not, but all the directors at the presidency fall under Article 71. All directors of the presidency, their benefits and their emolument are almost equal to that of a deputy minister. That's the point I'm making.
Okay.
My brother. Finally, it is disingenuous for anybody to make the claim or assertion that the SWAL administration that did not honor its financial obligations by settling coupons of bondholders. It is disingenuous for anybody to make that assertion. In fact, the record is there for you to check. As at the time President Akufo-Addo was leaving office, about 5.8 billion Ghana cedis had been paid to bondholders, and this is on record. So let nobody paint a picture that the SWAL administration didn't even pay a dime to bondholders. Anybody who does that is trying to be mischievous and disingenuous, which I think is not proper. Okay. Now, on the matter of the
NSS,
is it a scandal? NSS matter.
Okay.
I believe that, to start with, I will not sit here to defend any person, be it MPP, NDC, Movement for Change, any Ghanaian or any person, for misappropriating or stealing state funds. Okay. Corruption is something that is a major cancer in the skin of many African countries that is destroying many African countries. But notwithstanding, I believe that if a person is alleged to have committed a corrupt offense or a criminal offense, there are processes that the person has to go through. This country is regulated by laws. We are not in a banana republic. We are in a republic where the rule of law is supreme in this country. The first point I want to make is that no MPP appointee is running away from accountability. In fact, all MPP appointees are willing to submit themselves to the full scrutiny and rigors of the law. Nobody is running away from accountability. Nobody is running away from investigation or interrogation. No, nobody is doing that. KMJ, on the NSS scandal, it may interest you to know that yesterday, Gifty Oware was at the NIB. She arrived there around 4 p.m. I don't know the time.
After she
immediately she arrived in Ghana, she went home to drop her luggages, and then she went directly straight to the NIB. As at the time, Madam Gifty Oware visited Mrs. Gifty Oware visited the NIB office. As at that time, she had not been invited. It was all over in the media that Madam Gifty Oware is a fugitive from justice. She's running away. She's dodging accountability and all that. As at the time she visited NIB yesterday, she had not been invited. So she only visited NIB to tell NIB that I have seen it on social media, mainstream media, newspapers, all that you people are looking for me. I am here. What is the challenge? NIB had not invited Madam Gifty Oware. You see, the NSS issue, because it's a matter of investigation now that I am aware that the other deputy, Osonoba Jan, had been invited by the NIB. I will not go into the details of it because it is now a matter of investigation. But you see, I only want to admonish that if persons have been or are being alleged to commit financial irregularities or engage in corrupt acts, let's take them through the right process. Let's prosecute them. I am for it. If any appointee, be it MPP, NDC, CPP, is alleged to have stolen monies belonging to the good people of this country, please take the person to court. But let us not hide behind state-established institutions to witch hunt those people.
Do you think that's what it is?
To defame those people, to antagonize those people, to demonize those people. Let us not do that, because that would be a very dangerous precedent for our democracy.
But the government said they've never done anything like that. Felix has always come out to say that they are not doing
that is why I'm saying that I am admonishing them. That is why I'm saying that I am admonishing them. We all saw the raid at Ken Ofori-Attah's house. We all saw it in the media. We all saw that KMG, we live in a country, sometimes let's call it a spade a spade. We live in a country where we know the kind of people that can command the military to do certain things. You don't have the power to command the military. I don't have the power to command the military. Neither does anybody here have the power to command the military. And so if you see the military people, let's say, at Joy Prime conducting an operation, it means that there is somebody that has commanded. In any case, who is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces?
The president.
Exactly. So the buck stops at the president. You understand my point? And so that's what I'm saying, that I am only admonishing the state agencies, that the government, that they shouldn't hide behind state agencies to antagonize individuals. In any case, the position of the law is that a person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. And because even this is even a criminal issue, counsel will agree with me that even Madam Gifty Oware or any person alleged to have committed any criminal offense can decide not to even cooperate with the investigative agency or the prosecution or any. The person can decide to be quiet and say, charge me. Or the person can say, take me to court, charge me, give me my charge sheet, take me to court. The person is not under any obligation to assist the investigative body with investigations. It doesn't happen in this country. The person can, that is why it is an invitation. If the NIB or the police invite you, you can decline to honor the invitation, or you can decide to decline the invitation. It is an invitation. And so I am admonishing again, and let me reiterate and repeat that let us not hide behind state-owned agencies or state functionaries to antagonize persons who we feel have embezzled state funds. Please, if anybody, this NDC administration feels that anybody has stolen government money, they should go through the right processes. The MPP former appointees, in fact, they were public officers, and they should be able to submit themselves to the interrogation and the scrutiny of the law. And I am sure that Madam Gifty Oware is not afraid. I am confident that Madam Gifty Oware has not stolen anybody's money. I am confident Madam Gifty Oware has not engaged in any corrupt activity, any illegal practice. I am confident that she'll come out clean, and I am happy that yesterday she availed herself, despite the fact that there was no invitation, she availed herself for the NIB to interrogate and question her on matters suspected to have been issues of corruption. I am happy that she did that. And I mean, all government appointees, nobody should be afraid.
Okay.
Nobody should be afraid. If you know you have stolen money, then better get good lawyers and start preparing your defense.
Very well.
But if you know you are clean, there's nothing to be afraid of. I, for instance, I wasn't a government appointee. I am not afraid that anybody will come and arrest me. Sometimes I even sleep without locking my doors. I'm not afraid of any NIB or anybody. I have not. So if you feel you are clean, and I know that most of the appointees under the SWAL administration are clean, most of them are not scared. You see most of them walking around freely and enjoying their lives. Nobody is afraid. But the government shouldn't make it look as if they are in to terrorize former appointees of the SWAL.
All right, thank you, Kwesi. Let me move on to Gideon.
Yes, KMG. Well, let me draw the attention of Ghanaians and my junior that you see 60 ministers means 60 ministries, right? And so when they had over 125 ministers, it meant that 60 ministers it means that you are not having 60 ministers, but I mean, let's say 30 ministries, you are having ministries. But when they have the 125 ministers...
Now you have 23 ministries.
Yeah, so that I'm saying that 60 ministers require some ministries. When they had 125 ministers, you can imagine the number of ministries they had before we talk about executive assistants and what have you. Now, cutting down the ministers to 60 means that we are not going to buy 60 V8s, 60 Land Cruisers, 60 executive assistants and what have you. The people that we have 26 presidential staffers, they don't have, a ministry, presidential staffer. And then we have 4 directors. And so clearly that should tell you the prudent management we are engaging in. And that should also tell you that we are saving money. Unlike the NPP, who had over 333 presidential staffers and 125 ministers. And 125 ministers, that should tell you that you are having 125 V8s, 125 saloon cars, 125 bungalows, 125 executive assistants and other people. So you see, if you compare and you look at what we have done and what the NPP did, I don't expect my junior here to be saying that we should not be jubilant about sticking to our promise of having 60 ministers.
Okay.
So now you see, and so clearly we have saved a lot of money for Ghanaians, and that is how come we are able to settle the debts that the NPP actually left for us and put us in this mess. And you see, when you start managing your funds, you have enough money to settle people. But when you are still living large, obviously, you should know that you can't even pay your debts. Now, look, on the issue of the NSS scandal, you see, it's unfortunate. Looking at the report, clearly, it means that every month, 50 million Ghana cedi is what is the amount of money the state loses, to the extent that out of the 180,030 names that was presented for allowance payment in 2024, right? 81,885 names were alleged to be ghost names. So you can imagine, I'm sure right now national service is like 700 Ghana cedi, right?
Yeah, 750.
750 Ghana cedi. So you calculate, multiply 750 Ghana cedi times 81,885 ghost names. You can imagine that. So you can imagine the kind of money the state has lost. That money, right, can be used to settle the debts that the NPP left for us. And so it's a serious matter, because if you submit over 180 names for payment of allowance, and 81,000 names, right, goes to somebody's pocket, and the fact that only 98 names are the people that you pay, 75, that is a lot of money, and that is a serious matter. You see, on the issue of Mrs. Gifty Oware-Mensah, she is all over because she is the Deputy Executive Director in charge of Finance and Administration, which means it will pass your table, it comes to your table, which means you are in charge of the payment of allowances. That's why you see her name all over. And so she is a key witness when it comes to this misappropriation of the funds, because you are in charge of finance. So if we have an issue, you'll be the first person we'll ask, because you should have seen that out of the 180,000 names that you presented, 81,000 names are actually ghost names. It is your job. It is Mrs. Gifty Oware-Mensah's job to actually clean this thing. But for the fact that she was there as Deputy Executive Director in charge of administration and finance, and she oversaw 81,000 names, ghost names, being given 750 Ghana cedi a month, is a serious matter, which means 50 million Ghana cedi a month as corruption money, right? That's a serious matter. And so you see, it is good she came. People can come out and say that, well, she didn't run away and all that. You see, when you know what you have done, nobody has to tell you to run and come. or to run away. Obviously, you know that there was a mess. I mean, it took the fourth estate, right, to actually, you know, yes. And then when Ora also was set up by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, you know, complaints were received by Ghanaians, right, which the NSS scandal was also part. And so, out of the over $18 billion financial scandals that Ora actually, you know, was able to receive in terms of the complaints that received and the fact that the monies that the scandals that they uncovered, right? NSS, this scandal is part of it, and so clearly the NIB is doing investigations, and it is, there's no way Mrs. Gifty Oware-Mensah or anyone who has been, you know, invited can say he will not come, he will not honor the invitation. If you not honor the invitation, you will be arrested, and you will be remanded, because you are supposed to come and assist in investigations. So it is not true that, well, you can say that you will not. No, once you are invited, right, it doesn't mean you have been arrested.
So you can decline.
You cannot decline. You have been invited
and allow the state to take any other course they want to take.
It is totally untrue. You have been invited to assist in investigations. You have not been arrested. So you cannot say you will not honor the invitation. Why don't you want to honor the invitation? The state is inviting you. Once you fail to agree to or honor the invitation, it means that you are actually asking the state to actually arrest you to come and assist in investigation. And when that is done, they can actually tell the court to remand you, right, to help in the assistance of investigation. That is why when you are invited, you see most people honoring the invitation. How many times was he called to the bar? He's my junior, so he doesn't know that. In practice,
you know, the fact that you are my senior doesn't mean you are the repository of it. No, you are attacking me personally. No, you are attacking me personally.
In practice,
no.
Once you are invited, you must honor.
You see, you are saying that in practice.
Of course.
That's why. That's what I'm saying. That the person can decide to decline.
He's my junior.
No, the fact that I'm your junior doesn't mean you are the repository of wisdom.
Saying that.
Put that thing aside.
The point that
I'm your junior, and so what?
I am saying.
And so what?
I'm saying that.
Make your point. You are my senior, and so what?
The agency invites you, right? You must honor, because you have not been arrested. You have only been called to assist in.
What you are saying is fundamentally wrong. What you are saying is fundamentally wrong.
I won't come and then
come and arrest the person. The person can say that he or she cannot come. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. No. You are fundamentally wrong. You see what you are saying. You are fundamentally wrong. Please. Stop what you are saying.
Is that what would you, as a Ghanaian, if you have nothing to hide, why would you want to decline?
That's what I'm saying. That the person can decide to decline. That's what I'm saying. That the person can decide to decline.
So the bottom line is that is why you should listen to the minority leader. He indicated that once public officials are invited, they will honor the invitation. So you cannot say that you will not honor, because the point is that you have not been arrested. You have not been said that you have engaged. There have been investigations, and investigations may be that you may be guilty, you may be innocent, or you may be guilty. So what are you running away from? So you can never say, when you are invited by security, you cannot say you will not honor. If you will not honor, then it means you'll be arrested. And when you're arrested, what happens? It means that you are running away. And that may also mean that they can ask that you are remanded in the name of you being investigated, because when they called you, you didn't come. So what are you talking about? So that is why, in the wisdom of Mrs. Gifty Oware, she actually came. But the point is that she was also running away. And obviously, I'm sure the lawyers have said that, no, come on. If you have engaged in something and they've arrested your colleague, deputy, he was actually remanded, he was even kept at NIB for a day or two, right? In the name of what? Investigation. So you cannot, so what do you mean you not honor? In the long run, you come to the fact that if she failed to come, steps can be taken to ensure that she's brought to Ghana for investigation purposes. But you see, KMG, what we need to understand is that, as His Excellency John Dramani Mahama said, whatever will be done to ensure that the National Service scandal, we get to all those people who are found guilty will be made to face the full rigors of law. It will be done. And this is just one out of the $18 billion financial scandals that were uncovered under the auspices of ORA. And as we know, ORA has submitted over 2,000 complaints to the president, and the president has directed to the Attorney General to begin what? Investigations. And so it's not a matter of witch hunting. I mean, it's not a witch hunting. If you have nothing to hide, you cannot say you will not honor the invitation. If you have something to
Senior,
you can
I'll take just a minute.
And so you see, let us understand that
Gideon, wrap it up for me.
that law is flawed, very flawed, because any security agency can call you or can invite you for investigations, and you must honor it.
Okay.
If you don't honor it, you'll be arrested. And I don't think any Ghanaian or any public official would want to be arrested for failing to honor investigation, for the whole world to see that you have been arrested. No. So clearly what he's saying is flawed.
Okay. All right.
No, I have sought senior's permission. I have sought senior's permission. I have sought senior's permission. Senior, with your leave. With your leave. Your time is up. No, it is time for him to come. And I'm only giving Mr. Rogers. Please respect the audience.
You're not helping the conversation. Please. Listen, I'm going to let you talk.
I know it is no, KMG. Allow me 10 seconds. Allow me 10 seconds.
You don't have your license yet. 10 seconds. I know.
You don't have your license.
That is why I said, let me give you the time.
No problem. No problem.
Suma, please do some 5 minutes for me. Let me
respectfully, I would like to just add my voice to this conversation. You see, national service scandal, this is not the first time we are hearing about national service scandal, bloated payroll, and all these things. There have always been instances from, I think, 2012, 2013, 2014. Remember Pesa White and all their era, there was the same thing about 31,000 bloated names and all these things. So like I said, corruption in Ghana is a systemic corruption where anybody that gets an opportunity always look for loopholes to see how best they can also milk the state. And anybody who milks the state must be brought before the court or must be brought before justice. And whatever you have taken, you must be able to do what? Recover it. Because the state is bleeding. Monies are going wasteful. Therefore, we need to find every means to at least curtail it. I want to congratulate the lady for at least demonstrating this level of bravery to come back to Ghana. Even if it is her lawyers who admonish her or counsel her to come, at least she has paid ears to a good counsel. By come, she could have decided that I won't come. But then, even in America, almighty Donald Trump gets invited by agencies and he goes. So, if you are a public servant and you've operated in that capacity, and any state institution invites you, I don't think you have the luxury to say you will not come. You must come. And if you don't come, the law must take it due course and get you to answer for the wrongs. But again, they are all lawyers. He is saying that he's a senior to him. But I only want to...
But that's a fact.
That even if he has not gotten there yet, he's also in the process of going through all the rudiments of becoming a fully fledged counsel. So all I'm also trying to say that on platform, let us try to at least give the little ones also the opportunity to feel comfortable and express their opinions about things. Okay. Because you see, the law always we say is a two-faced angle. It's a double-edged sword. Lawyer A, lawyer B will have different interpretation of an article, and it all may hold water. Are you getting the point? It is only when the jury sits that they will say, maybe you made a sufficient case, you didn't make a sufficient case.
And based on that, they pass judgment.
Based on that, they pass a judgment. So the lawyers are not obviously a repository of wisdom and knowledge. It is obviously the fact that you make your case, I also make my case, and then the winner or the one who presents a more formidable argument wins the case. So you see people who are innocent are being jailed. People who are culprit are being freed. It is about how you present your case in court that will make you win or lose. So all I'm saying is that if Madam Gifty Oware is in, whatever the national security agencies will want from her, they should quickly act upon that. If they have to process her to court for any evidence, if they have established any prima facie case against her, that there's sufficient evidence to suggest that really you are an accomplice in that corruption or in this scandal, she should be brought before the law. And we will only want to admonish again that any act of suspicion of corruption, please bring it to the public attention. Let us all look into it. So at the end of the day, the public can have confidence in what NDC is doing. Because don't forget, NDC is also a group of human beings. They are not angels. NDC is not made up of angels. People have invested their money for 8 years financing the campaign activities of the government in power today. Therefore, they also have means to do what to recover their cost. So they will also be finding ways and means to recover their money. So corruption is going to prevail in NDC government. But you see, who we of Fonsa, we are the heritage man. Who we of Fonsa, now who shall son. Let us find a way to combat corruption, but we shouldn't be going after each other as if one is constantly wrong and one is constantly right.
Very well, Smart. Thank you. Let me take your last word, and then we are done.
Respectfully, when Senior was speaking, I was quiet. I expect him to render me the same courtesy.
He was making noise
when I am speaking.
We don't have time for this.
To start with, whether you are my senior or whatever, the point is that you are a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. You cannot, unless you want to question my legal education, the point is that you are a practicing lawyer, I am a practicing lawyer.
Okay.
Let's establish that point.
Yet.
So does that make me less a lawyer? Are you now questioning
you're
that?
a pupil.
You see, KMJ, for the purposes of the public, please read this. Or you can even decide to Google. You can even decide, when you finish, go back.
Some people want to honor CID invitation.
Please read the first paragraph. Please read.
Sorry. The National Democratic Congress, NDC, has said, notice to its national chairman, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, will not honor an invitation from the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, tomorrow, Thursday, May 9, 2019.
Let me give you another one to read. Before I make the point, let me give you another one to read. Let me give you another one.
No, on that score.
So
No. Oh, please. I have the platform. Please read another one. I have the. Oh, you people should go. Allow me. Please. Professor of Law, allow me. Please.
Following lawsuit.
Please.
The National Democratic Congress NDC Communications Officer Sammy Gifty says he will not honor any invitations by the Criminal Investigations Department after he sued to stop the police from records and gaining access to his Facebook.
Allow me make my point. No, KMJ, he has made his point. Allow me make my point.
You are being invited so you can.
The jury out there will judge you. The jury out there will judge your conduct. The jury out there will judge your conduct. No, you have made your point. No, easy.
Can you compare a public official, a party executive?
Okay.
That's
what you are. Easy what you are doing. Easy what you are doing. Easy what you are doing.
You are managing.
Allow me make my point. You made your point.
You are managing officer.
You fight that. No. When he's done, I'll make my point. When he's done, I'll make my point.
Your microphone's out. Your microphone's out.
I said, let me public official.
KMJ, no. You should. KMJ.
You should allow me make my point.
But you guys are not helping. You're all screaming. And it won't help us.
This is gross indiscipline. This is arrogance of power. What is this? What kind of we will not see our comfort.
That'll be all for this morning. Unfortunately,
This is how lawyers behave. What are you talking about? This is how you are
your microphones are off. Your microphones are off. See, this is where. Are you serious right now? Come on now.
We will not be eating KK. We will not eat KK over.
So unfortunately. Unfortunately, the learned colleagues over here did not have the conversation this morning, please. No. But I was expecting you to keep quiet for me to moderate. You're also screaming at him. It's not fair. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks to Franco Trading Enterprise this morning for giving us a chance to do this. And thank you so much, Suma, for coming as well. That'll be all for this morning. I said the Golden Girl has got some trends for us this morning here on the show. Please do stay.